Hi, and welcome to my additional videos to help you in your Copperplate calligraphy journey. On this video, I'm talking about common mistakes, and on this in particular, I'm going to be talking about finger movement. Now, is finger movement a mistake? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. When is a common mistake? When we only use finger movement in certain letter forms. Because there are certain letter forms that will work well, and there are certain letter forms that with finger movement only will not work. So let's go into detail. Now, I'm using a very dark walnut ink. I'm also using a hand 101, but if you are a total beginner, I very much recommend you to use Nico G, Tachikawa G, or Zebra G, because they are less flexible than this nib, and it might feel a lot more comfortable. Imagine like you have never wore any high heels, and you are wearing like a very, very needle thin high heel in comparison to wearing something that is a lot more robust, and you have more area or more surface to walk. Now, let's go. If you need blank calligraphy guidelines or advice on materials for calligraphy, on the description on this video, you will find all the information and downloadable links. Now, let's go. So let's talk about finger movement. So I'll start with the pen. Now, depends on the type of guideline that we are using, meaning depending on the size of the X height, this will be different. Currently, if I can show you in here, I'm using 6 millimeters, which is not super huge, which is not very small. It's like a middle size. Now, with this middle size, and I place my hand on the paper, if I only move my fingers, I know that I can cover the area of the X height, no problem, and you can see how my fingers are moving. I can even cover 2 units, so X height and short ascenders, or X height and short descenders. Now, if I need to cover a greater area, like a 3 units, and you can see what's going on in here, I will do it now with the blank paper underneath, and only move finger movement, we are going to obtain a different shape. So let me attach the paper and talk about it in detail. So I'll mark the X height as always, and you get to see first what I'm talking about with a ballpoint pen, and then I will reproduce the same with the pointed nib. Now, with my hand steady, and let's go in a little bit so you have greater detail. Now, I only moving up and down, up and down. And yes, I only need my fingers to do this movement. If I want to do the same with 2 units, I might be able to do so. 1, 2, starting to lose the angle of the writing. So this is the first thing to notice. It's a lot harder to control, but I still can make it happen. If the area we want to cover is greater, so 3 units and more, and I only move my fingers, as you are seeing on the video, that's what I am going to obtain. Down, up, down, up, down. Okay, so what is happening in here is because I only move finger movement and anything else, what I'm obtaining is what I'm calling a banana shape. Is that bad? Well, if we are doing copperplate calligraphy, yes. Why is that? Because the angle of the writing, as you know, is 55 degrees. And when we want to create, for example, a letter P, what we actually want is to go up and to go straight down. And from here, the rest. if the area is getting bigger than 2 units, let me mark the angle again. What I'm going to obtain is a letter form that if I only move my fingers, as you can see on the right-hand side of this video, this is what's coming naturally from my hand, only moving fingers. So then in here, I have to employ other technique, which means the fingers are going to serve me inside the X height, no problem. But now to create a straight movement, I want to move my whole hand down. Do I need to move the forearm? No, I might not need to move the forearm, but with the flexibility of my skin, I might have enough to move along. Let's mark the angle again. And then once I'm going up for the P, for example, up, straight, down, and I push the skin of my hand and I lock my fingers. So you don't see my fingers doing the banana shape, but you see how my fingers are locked and now I'm pushing the skin of my hand and going down. If I zoom out, what you're seeing here is that my fingers are locked. Once I go up, my fingers are locked. And now, well, now I'm blocking the camera. And from here, down, 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 down. So to obtain a straight line, I have to lock my fingers and actually do this movement that you are seeing on the screen. Depending on how big is your writing, then your forearm is going to move along the table. And if it's really large, the movement is going to come from your elbow and your shoulder completely. But we are not in this size of writing because these series are for beginners. So you are not going to create a huge, large size movement. But with the movement of 3 units, already we are going to have these problems. So to avoid the problem is we have to not only use finger movement, but a combination of going up with the finger movement, lock the finger movement, and go down straight with your skin. So your hand is doing a translation movement going down. When do I do that? I do it using this part of my hand and a section of my forearm in here. And using the flexibility of my skin, I can move as you are seeing on the video like that. Which other examples we can see? Obviously, the biggest example is letter F. And letter F now occupies the entire 5 units. So, okay, I only going to move finger movement now with this example. So you will see from the top to the bottom. That's how I need to move to cover this area. And I am able to cover this area, but you can see how it is not possible to cover this area with a straight line because this is what comes naturally from the hand. Always these videos coming from the right-hand side. So attention to being left-hander because it is absolutely possible. Actually, it can be easier than coming from the right-hand side, but it is not the same that I'm explaining now. So you can go and check a left-hand pen positioning video, which it is available, and see the difference in positioning, in movement, and in orientation. So all of this coming from the right-hand side. Now, we want to obtain a straight line and not a curvy line. So for this matter, we are gonna do what I just explained here. Okay, and is using my fingers to start with, if you want, from inside of the X height. And then from here, I move my hand and then lock the fingers and move my hand actually down, making sure it's a straight movement. And from here, exit. Okay, so I hope you saw the movement I just created, which I'm repeating in here. Finger movement, and now lock the finger and actually move the hand down. In and exit. Okay, let's do this with the pointed nib and the ink. I have published another video talking about pen positioning, which is very much related to what we are talking about in here. So you can go and check that out because that's going to be very helpful to also understand why the positioning is this way and not a different one. So again, starting from inside the X height and going up 1 unit, exit 2 units or 2.25 down, lock my hand and push the hand down so that I don't have this shape, up, flat, and only move finger movement, starting to curve. I exaggerated the movement so you can see, but it is not an exaggeration that you are starting to lose the angle. It might be a round movement, as I did now, or it simply might be a downstroke that don't follow the 55 degrees. Okay, and this might not look bad as it is isolated, but if you see the angle I have underneath, which is this one, is way off. So we need to ensure we get a parallel movement of the slant of the writing. That means going up, flat top, push down, and move the hand, stop. In the case of the F, which as you know, occupies the entire 5 units, let's do it again. Going up, pause, going up again, lock the hand, move the hand across with the flexibility of your own skin, going up, loop, exit. And we obtain a straight line instead of obtaining something that would look really weird, but I will try to do it now only with my fingers. I have trouble to cover the area because it's a long area with my fingers only and might not look that bad to your eyes. But if I follow the slant of the writing, this is where the angle of the writing is coming down. And if you, obviously the F is currently by itself, but when you place the F next to everything else, you are going to see suddenly that the direction of the other letters is not the same as what you're obtaining. So you might be semi-successful on the ascender area, but not on the descender area for sure. So I'm gonna be like in here, I'm good, in here, I'm good, by using a combination of finger movement and hand translation and locking the fingers and then moving down. All right, excellent. So if you want to check other common mistakes, such as lack of consistency, holding your breath while writing, pen positioning, and so forth, you will find them inside this new series. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again soon.